Hey, listeners, if you're looking for a podcast that's equal parts horrifying and hilarious, then pack your bags and check out Slaycation. Slaycation is hosted by a former social worker and crime junkie, her comedy screenwriter husband, and his Emmy-nominated TV producing partner. This show brings a unique and humorous spin to stories of vacations gone horribly wrong. They do a great job of having the perfect balance of education, humor, and compassion. They lead with empathy for the victims while making heavy, often chilling stories easy to digest. Whether it's a tropical getaway gone bad or a suspicious road trip with a deadly twist, every episode is packed with suspenseful storytelling that'll have you asking, was it an accident or was it murder? I love the episode they did about Ocean City, Maryland. The twists and turns will have your head spinning, and you may never talk to a stranger on vacation again. Slaycation is available on all major podcast platforms. Just search for Slaycation on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Go check them out. Guys, you've heard me say it before, and I'm going to say it again. Via Hemp is by far the best edible company out there. We absolutely love them. We use their products all the time. They're our favorite, and if you try them, they'll be your favorite too. They have products all over the edible spectrum. Whether you're looking for products with just CBD in them, or if you're really feeling frisky, some CBD and THC products, they have something for you. Via Hemp products are made in the USA. They use high-quality ingredients. And like I've said before, they taste amazing. They taste just like candy. So if you're 21 and up, treat yourself to 15% off and get a free gift with your first order using our code WIFEOFCRIME1 at viahemp.com. Plus, you'll get free shipping on orders over $100. That's VIIAHEMP.com. Promo code WIFEOFCRIME1 for 15% off and free shipping on orders over $100.
This podcast is an unscripted, unedited conversation about true crime. We take the cases very seriously, but I don't take myself seriously at all, and neither should you. Welcome to Wife of Crime.
So, Russ. Back in 2013, the world was horrified when we learned of 3 women that were held captive in a Cleveland home for the last 10 years. I first heard about this case from the viral video of Charles Ramsey, the man who helped one of the women escape. And I really thought I knew this story, but I had no idea. This is the remarkable survival of Michelle Knight, Amanda Barry, and Gina DeJesus. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wife of Crime, a true crime podcast where I tell my husband Russ true crime stories and he reacts to them.
What's up, folks? It's Russ, a.k.a. Stay Fat, Don't Get Kidnapped, a.k.a. Stay Fit, Stay Alive, a.k.a.
Wait, you're both?
Yeah, because you're going to get to choose. First of all, you interrupted my a.k.a.
Sorry, go ahead.
A.k.a. Ivar the Boneless.
Ivar the Boneless.
If you know, you know. We're just dragging ourselves through life, folks.
Oh, man. Ivar the Boneless was such a good character.
No, I hated him.
No. I hated him, but he was a great character.
Well, yeah, because all the girls found him handsome.
I mean, he was hot. He was hot, 100%.
That's all right. Lagatha is top 5 dead or alive.
Wait, so you can be stay fit, stay alive, and stay fat, don't get kidnapped at the same time?
Yeah.
I don't know if
that's kind of just how I identify.
I can't argue with that.
Nope, that's how you end all arguments nowadays. What you gonna do? So I thought it was real funny before we started recording today. Lucy's on the couch, and Jess goes to Lucy. Because we've been letting Lucy sleep on the couch while we record. We record on the couch, and we put Tyson away. So she walks up to Lucy, wakes her up, and goes, you better not snore while we're recording. And then I start dying. Like, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Like,
Listen,
Jess is the biggest snorer of all time.
I have a deviated septum and a broken nose, okay?
Yeah, well, we tried to get you to get your nose fixed many times.
Lucy snores every time we record, and it's very distracting.
It is, and I know, but it's also distracting when I'm snoring. I mean, when I'm trying to go to sleep and you're snoring.
Yeah.
There's been times where you and her, I feel like, are on the bed with me, and I feel like there's a helicopter circling around me.
You're such an exaggerator. Oh, boy. Well, I'm Jess, a.k.a. Stay Fit, Stay Alive, because right now I'm doing a push-up challenge. I haven't done a push-up challenge in 2 years. I'm in my first week of my Stay Fit, Stay Alive push-up challenge. I'm doing 3 sets of 5. I got a bunch of listeners with me.
Yeah.
If you go over to my @StayFitStayAlive Instagram, you can see me post daily, and hopefully it inspires you, because us women, we got to work on our upper bodies.
Yeah, and your glutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It hasn't inspired me yet. I've been thinking about doing some. I used to do like 200 a day and go for my little 3-mile run every day. That was kind of my routine.
That was his routine. It's
then
true.
I started mixing in pull-ups towards the end of my run.
Oh.
So there's something that I thought was funny that I wanted to share with you guys. So every year, Jess's family does a barbecue for Mother's Day, and it's like a big deal to them.
Yeah, it's the biggest holiday in my family.
Yeah, so everyone goes.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to a few, 2, 3, I don't know.
What are you about to say?
So Jess's mom makes a Facebook group for it, and like everybody put what you're bringing.
Oh yeah, we comment what we're all going to bring. Yeah.
So the things that they said they're bringing, I was like, oh my God, this is the whitest.
Oh God.
The whitest barbecue I ever been to. So
you've been to it multiple times.
Yes. So one of the responses, I'm bringing couscous. Then the cousin responds, I'll bring veggie pizza. And then I wanted to respond, I ain't going. But I responded, I'll bring Jess.
Yeah, he responded, I'm bringing Jess.
So, yeah, they're bringing the couscous and the veggie pizza. I'll be sure to eat before I go.
We're just talking about sides, okay? And God forbid people try to eat a little healthy nowadays, Russell.
First of all,
let me explain.
I would say first of all, never give you a second of all.
First of all, let me explain to everybody. We always have like burgers, hot dogs. We always have stuff like that. These are just sides.
Keep them shits on the side. Inside your car.
It does. When you explain it like that, it does sound like the whitest cookout.
Oh, I can imagine what everyone else is bringing. There's going to be raisins in random food that raisins don't belong in.
You have fun. We all have fun every year. It's a good time.
No, it's cool. But now Jess is like, oh my God, I hope they don't listen.
I do.
Because it's this Sunday. So it's like 7. What's today? I don't even know.
Today's Thursday.
Wait, so it's in like 3 days?
Yeah, it's in a couple days.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so hopefully nobody listens to this episode.
Well, this episode will come out like tomorrow, Friday-ish, probably, or maybe tonight.
Yeah.
So if you guys listen to this and you're on the way, pick up like some chicken wings or something.
That's funny.
It sure is. So a couscous. And like I was saying, first of all, isn't pizza in general vegetarian?
I mean, it's vegetarian if you have no meat on it. Yeah.
Yes, so normal pizza is vegetarian. So she's about to do something crazy to the pizza that I am not going to co-sign. Maybe I'll take a picture for you guys.
You're ridiculous. Well, this month on the Patreon, we are going to be watching and reviewing the HBO Max documentary Chowchilla. Now, I have never heard of this case prior to this documentary. One thing Russ is going to love is that it's a 1-episode documentary, no multi-parts.
So a better chance for
him to not fall
there won't
asleep.
be any fluff, it's hopefully.
So
like just nonstop information and filling in the holes for us.
Yeah.
Pause.
So this documentary is about, are you ready for this, Russ? I don't even think you know what it's about.
I do not.
It's about an entire school bus full of children that gets kidnapped, and the school bus and all the children in it disappear. And an entire town is looking for them.
I knew that. Well, I didn't know the time, but I read the documentary, the bottom of it, and I told you, maybe we should do that one.
Oh, you did?
I was sitting there with you.
Oh, I didn't remember. But anyway, isn't that crazy? So I don't know any of the details. This has been recommended by our patrons multiple times, this case and this documentary. So a few of them live close to where it happened, and they really want us to watch it. So I'm actually really excited to watch this because I don't know anything about it. And I really like going into cases and documentaries completely blind. So, okay, you have the patron shout outs.
All right, folks. So one of the perks on Patreon is you get to hear me say your name in the words of the great Destiny's Child.
I'm sure you think they're so great.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So this week's Patreon joiners are Jillian, Joanne, Maru, Jen and Barry, a.k.a. Ben and Jerry, Marianne, Samantha, Hannah, Marjetta, Maya, Big Daddy and Hot Mama, oh jeez, Jackie, Nikki, Manta, Brandy, Ozzy. Jess is right. That wasn't so bad to admit. You motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So cheers to you. I got this whiskey.
Cheers guys.
I'm drinking, what am I drinking today? Woodford Reserve.
Woodford Reserve.
Okay, so review of the week is still going strong. I've been thinking about taking a break from it.
Wow.
But I'm going to hang on. I need you guys to go over to Apple and leave a review. And if you can make it funny, that's a better chance of getting it read it for you. So
getting it read. Read it.
Read.
Hooked on phonics work for you.
Well, you can tell that part-time homeschool education.
Yeah, go to Apple, write a review. Russ might read it, especially if you make it funny or if you make fun of one of us.
But obviously 5 stars. I'm so surprised we're still at 4.9 rating. That's like the highest I've seen out of any podcast.
Yeah, I'm really surprised as well.
It's like, what the fuck?
We just need more because when you guys go do it, it pushes the pod so more people see us.
Yeah, so that's what they say. We don't know if it's real.
True. We don't know how the algorithms work at all.
And we're just winging it.
Yeah.
So anyway, go to Apple, leave us 5 stars, say what up. And I'll definitely read it. And one of them I'll read out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this one is from... That's just a lot of random letters. I can't read it.
Mm-hmm.
It says, I feel for Jess. My favorite part of every podcast is when Russ randomly says something stupid and Jess continues talking like she didn't even hear him. I laugh every time. I imagine there's times Jess wants to take Russ to the top of a hill and see what happens.
Oh,
LOL.
wow. That's violent.
This is my favorite crime podcast. Russ and Jess are amazing. # we need more episodes. # not me, not today.
Aww.
So shout out to you.
Shout out to you.
It's just a lot of letters that don't belong together as their name.
That was funny.
Yeah.
I sometimes acknowledge the dumb comments and sometimes I just speed on by. So Jade texted me today. Jade is our designer. She designed our logo and all of our merch. She's our designer exclusively for the pod.
Jade's the homie. She got a cute little dog.
She does have a cute dog.
Yeah.
She texted me today because she's coming out with a true crime and chill coloring book.
Oh.
So Jade designs coloring books on her website, Dead Inside Design, and it's also on Amazon. And she has all different types of coloring books. She has horror ones, she has grief ones, and
I have an idea.
She's coming out with a true crime and chill
That's
one.
dope. So what I need you guys to do is I need you to find her on Instagram, Dead Inside Designs, and tell her that you would like Jess and Russ inside her true crime and chill coloring book. You want to color our pictures. Make sure you hit her up and tell her that. She's gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
She is gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
I don't know how to say it. Accent. What the fuck?
She's from Liverpool.
Well, that's the only accent I got.
Yeah, she's definitely gonna be like
Scottish.
WTF for us. Why are you gonna put me on the spot like this?
Yeah, so hit her up. It'll be fun.
Well, we have an affiliate code for Jade's website. So if you guys are interested in getting any coloring books, coloring is so good for anxiety. I love coloring. It kind of calms me down, keeps me focused on something.
She got other stuff too, though. It's not just coloring books. She had all kind of cool shit.
She does, yeah. Well, if you guys want a coloring book or any of our other items, you can go to deadinsidedesign.com and use our promo code Wife of Crime and you'll get 10% off.
Oh, yeah.
She made an affiliate code for us.
Oh, that's dope.
I know. So I don't know exactly when her True Crime and Chill coloring book is going to drop, but it's definitely happening within the next few weeks because she sent me a bunch of designs and it looks so cool.
Well, hit her up, tell her to hurry up and make sure we're in it.
Like, oh, God. She's going to hate that.
Yeah, I hope she gets like hundreds of messages saying that.
Okay. So sometimes I start researching a case thinking I know a lot about it. And then I go hard and I listen to audiobooks and watch documentaries and listen to multiple podcasts and I go completely crazy and obsessive. I did that for many episodes. Recently, I did that with the Jonestown case and ended up being 2 parts.
That was a long one.
It was long. Well, I ended up doing it again.
Oh, we might end up being 2 parts?
I don't think we're going to be 2 parts, but my write-up is really long on this one because I thought I knew this case, but I had no idea the details and how horrendous the details actually are.
Yeah, well, I guess get comfortable, folks. Or you might be running, listening, keep running or exercising, whatever you're doing.
Whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
The human brain is truly incredible. It's not just a command center, but a shield, a fighter, and a healer all in one, right?
Mm-hmm.
When someone goes through intense trauma, their brain steps in to protect them, activating survival instincts that push them forward even when everything seems hopeless. The amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for processing fear, takes control, flooding the body with adrenaline to keep them alert, ready, and prepared for anything.
Shout out to the amygdala.
Shout out to the amygdala. I love the brain, by the way. I've talked about this before. The brain is fascinating to me. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, which helps with reasoning, slows down. Because in moments of life or death, logic isn't always a priority. This is why people in dangerous situations often act on instinct rather than careful thought. What's even more astonishing is how the brain shields people from overwhelming pain. And you know that firsthand.
Yeah, when I broke my back at first, it didn't hurt at all.
Yeah, you weren't in pain. You just couldn't feel your legs, but you weren't in pain.
Yeah, like everything went numb.
And meanwhile, he had 9 broken ribs, 2 broken scapula, a broken spinal cord and back, and a collapsed lung, and a lung filled with blood. And he didn't feel any pain.
Not well, in the words of the great Eminem, till I collapse, I'm spilling these raps.
But the brain,
so corny.
The brain is so amazing that it protected you like that. We're just so lucky to have a brain.
Yeah, I wish it was still doing that for me.
I know. Many survivors experience disassociation, where their mind detaches from the immediate horror, allowing them to endure what might otherwise feel unbearable. It's a defense mechanism, a built-in way to preserve sanity when reality is too much. And the brain doesn't stop there. Long after trauma ends, neuroplasticity allows it to heal, rewiring itself, forging new connections, adapting, and refusing to let despair win. Survivors of violent crime and captivity are living proof of just how powerful the human mind can be. Even after enduring the worst of humanity, many find the strength to rebuild, to fight, and to reclaim what was stolen from them. Resilience isn't just about survival. It's about hope, about the unwavering determination to keep going, even when the world has tried to break them. The Cleveland kidnappings were a shocking and tragic case that unfolded over more than a decade, forever changing the lives of 3 women: Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeJesus. This horrific case is a harrowing testament to resilience and survival against unimaginable abuse. Everyone listening right now, I'm sure, remembers the day these 3 women were rescued from that house of horrors that they were held captive in. Whether you saw it on the news or you saw the viral video of Charles Ramsey, I'm sure everyone remembers when these women were finally freed. But I'm also sure most people don't know just how horrendous this case actually is. I thought I knew, but I had no idea. Do you know Charles Ramsey? If you say no, you're not the king of viral videos anymore.
Charles Ramsey. I don't know a lot of people's names. Wait, was that the black dude that said he was like eating his McDonald's or something?
Yes.
And then he was like, I knew something was wrong when the white girls jumped into my arms.
Yes, that is Charles Ramsey.
Why? If you ever want to make have a viral interview with the news, it always starts out with something that has nothing to do with it, what you were doing before. I was eating McDonald's.
Yeah.
I was getting a cold pop.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta figure out the art of this.
The art of viral video.
Yeah, it's always random.
Well, I'm going to play that coverage of Charles Ramsey, the video that went completely viral. And fun fact, Charles Ramsey later wrote a book about how this viral video actually ruined his life, which I found really interesting and I might read after.
Wow.
So this is Charles Ramsey's viral video clip.
Hey, Charles, let me talk to you. I'm talking with Charles Ramsey. He's a neighbor. Walk me through again what happened this afternoon. You heard screaming.
Heard screaming. I'm eating my McDonald's. I come outside. I see this girl going nuts, trying to get out of her house. So I go on the porch. And she says, "Help me get out. I've been in here a long time." So I figured it's a domestic violence dispute. So I open the door, and we can't get in that way because how the door is, it's so much that the body can't fit through, only your hand. So we kick the bottom, and she comes out with the little girl, and she says, "Call 911. My name is Amanda Berry."
Now, did you know who that was when she said that?
When she told me, it didn't register until I got to call the 911. And I'm like, I'm calling the 911 for Amanda Berry? I thought this girl was dead. You know what I mean? See, the girl Amanda told the police, I ain't just the only ones. It's some more girls up in that house. So they went up there, 30, 40 deep. And when they came out, was just astonishing because I thought they were going to come up with nothing. I figured, whoever she was, and like I say, my neighbor, you got some big testicles to pull this off, bro, because we see this dude every day. Every day.
How long have you lived here?
I've been here a year.
Okay.
You see where I'm coming from?
Right.
I barbecue with this dude. We eat ribs and whatnot and listen to salsa music. You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah. And you had no indication that there was anything going on?
Bro, not a clue that girl was in that house or anybody else was in there against their will, because how he is he just comes out to his backyard, plays with the dogs, tinker with his cars and motorcycles, goes back in the house. So he's somebody that you look away because he's not doing nothing but the average stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's nothing exciting about him. Well, until the day.
What was the reaction on the girls' faces? I can't imagine to see the sunlight, to be around
Bro,
people.
I knew something was wrong when a little pretty white girl ran into a black man's arms. Something is wrong here. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Charles, thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
Thank you very much for your time. And
either she homeless or she got problems. That's the only reason why she run to a black man.
It's safe to say Charles Ramsey never had any snow bunnies in his life.
It's safe to say. So yeah, Charles went completely viral with that video. Dead giveaway. Everyone was saying that. And
the only part I remember, I didn't remember dead giveaway. I just remembered him saying like the pretty little white girl jumped to a black man's arms. That's how I knew something was wrong.
yeah,
And he had like long slick back hair,
he
if I
did.
remember right.
Yeah, he did. I thought I knew this case, but I had no idea. This is the amazing survival of Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeJesus. I don't think you're ready for this. I don't, because it's insane. But are you ready?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I got a lot of my information for this episode from Michelle Knight's first book, Finding Me, A Decade of Darkness, A Life Reclaimed. I'm going to warn you all that the book is incredibly detailed and graphic. I will go into some detail so you get the full grasp of how big of a monster Ariel Castro was, but I'm not going to tell you everything that happened in that house, because while listening to this book, I cried a few times.
Damn.
And to be honest, some of the things these women endured was so dark and horrific that I just don't want to talk about it. Her book is absolutely amazing. If you're interested in the full unfiltered details, definitely check it out. But there's no way that you can listen to this book and not feel grateful for everything you have and inspired by her sheer will to live. But do listen to her book and our episode with caution, because if you're in the wrong headspace, that book is gonna mess you up. Like, it's rough.
This is my book today, listening to you.
Yeah, I know you're not gonna listen to it. You're gonna,
Yeah.
But I have a lot of details. I decided to read Michelle's account of this case because it is known, and all the women agree, that Michelle experienced the worst of Ariel Castro. He tortured all of the women, and all of them went through unimaginable abuse.
So I thought that when they did the news story, it was 2 of them, but it was more?
There's 3 of them.
Oh, there was 3. Okay.
Yes. We're going to talk about that, why you think it was just 2. There's a reason.
The newscasters probably.
No. There's a reason for that.
Oh.
We'll get into it later. So Michelle was treated the worst. All the women agree. Not only that, but prior to being kidnapped, Michelle had a horrible life. And I want to highlight her strength to overcome in this episode. Sometimes for reasons we will never understand. Some people have horrendous things happen to them over and over and over again. Some people's lives are just hard, and we don't understand why that is. It's incredibly unfair.
I know.
And it makes no sense.
I know.
But sadly, it happens. Michelle's resilience throughout her life is one of the most inspiring stories I've ever heard. Her will to live and then go on to thrive is unimaginable. I don't know that I would have the type of strength that she has within me. I truly don't. So here we go. Michelle Knight was born on April 23rd, 1981. Her childhood was extremely hard from the start.
Damn, 81, she's old.
She's same age. Same. Bro, Russ was born in 1981.
Nuh-uh.
Don't let him fool you.
I'm 29.
Her childhood was extremely hard from the start. She lived in and out of homelessness with her parents. They were very, very poor. She was the oldest sibling and was forced to be responsible for her younger siblings at a very young age. Her parents were addicts. Michelle was a dirty kid who wasn't able to take regular showers because of her housing situation being so unstable.
That sucks. Everyone know, if you think back in school, we all remember there were some kids that were dirty.
Yeah, we do.
And it's so sad because they get made fun of, but it's not even their fault. It's that their parents are bums.
Exactly, yeah. She was bullied relentlessly in school for being dirty. She only had 2 or 3 outfits, so her clothes smelled pretty bad because her parents didn't wash them often. She ended up staying to herself because of the bullying. She also was in and out of school because her home life and all the instability, so she was held back multiple times for missing so much school. When she was 9 years old, a family relative moved into their apartment, and at one point, there were 15 people living in a 2-bedroom apartment. This family friend began sneaking in the middle of the night to where she slept.
Oh no, don't start this.
And started raping her. This man was violent and would threaten to kill her if she told anyone. So over the next 6 years, she endured daily rape at the hands of a family friend that was living there. When she was 15 years old, she couldn't take another moment in that house. She decided anything was better than living there. So in the early morning hours, she snuck out of a bathroom window and ran away. She would spend the next few months homeless at 15. She found a trash can and brought it to an overpass on the other side of town. She turned it on its side, and that's where she slept.
Damn.
Michelle was only 4'11". She's very small.
She's out there, at 15 and you're 4'11", she probably looked like a baby.
Yeah, she looked very young, and she's alone and homeless, but in her mind, it's better than getting raped every day and living in this house with addict parents and all the things.
I wish she would have called the cops on that motherfucker.
I know.
She don't know what to do,
She would get meals from a soup kitchen that a church hosted and would wash up in the bathroom there. The pastor of the church was actually really, really kind to her. And he had the same haircut as Arsenio Hall. So she calls him throughout the book Arsenio. Yeah. She says the ladies in the church were really nice to her too, and the pastor noticed that it was November and Michelle was walking around in a t-shirt. She didn't have a coat. So, they had a bunch of donations at the church, clothing donations, and he got one of the coats out of the closet, the donation closet, and gave it to her. She remembers going to the church on Sundays and sitting in the back, listening to the choir sing, and it gave her a lot of hope. One day, a man came up to the trash can while she was sleeping and started talking to her.
Oh, boy.
She was terrified. At this point, she had a knife in her pocket, and she grasped firmly on it, ready to pull it on this dude at any moment. He introduced himself as Sniper and asked if she wanted a job. A job? Turns out he was a drug dealer, and he needed another drug runner. After talking for a few minutes, she was desperate for a meal, so she decided to go with him. And it's a good thing she did. This guy was actually really, really nice to her. Got her food, new clothes, and she ended up moving into his apartment, and he gave her her own room. He didn't try anything inappropriate with her. He didn't try to date her or have sex with her or nothing. It was all business.
He was just about his money.
He was all about his money. He wanted her to work for him, so she did. And for the next 6 months, Sniper and a kid named Ronald, who was also homeless, lived together with Michelle, and they all ran drugs.
That's better than sleeping in a garbage can like Oscar the Grouch.
Exactly. He paid them $300 a week. She said she was always afraid of getting caught, but she saved her money, and she told herself she's only going to do this until she saved enough money to get a place to live and a real job.
And at 15 in the 90s, $300 and you didn't have any money, you feel rich.
Oh, yeah. And she stacked her money. She was saving it. Unfortunately, however, during a deal, Sniper got arrested. Ronald and Michelle saw it go down, and they ran. But they never went back to the house again. And all the money she saved up in her bedroom was gone.
It's almost better if she would have been arrested at 15 for selling drugs, because her life, they would have found out she's homeless, and they probably would have got her help. Well, at least I'm hoping that's what the system would do.
Yeah, I hope so too. With a juvenile offender, first offender, homeless, hopefully they would have, but they might have reunited her with her family, and she didn't want to have anything to do with her family.
Well, if she says something at that point, I don't want to go back. Hopefully they ask why, and she would say it, and they would just, chop that man's dingling off. When you vote for us, you vote for dinglings to be cut off. Hashtag vote for us.
God. So Michelle took Ronald to the overpass where she used to sleep. He got his own trash can, and the two of them slept there. One day, while walking to the church for a meal, her father was driving down the street. He saw her, quickly pulled over, and grabbed her and threw her in the back of the car. He scolded her for running away from home and forced her back into the family's apartment, back into the hell she came from. Over the next year, Michelle met a boyfriend, and at 17, she became pregnant. The boyfriend stayed with her up until the baby came, but left when little Joey, her son, arrived. As soon as Joey was born, Michelle was in love with him. She wanted to be the best mom that she could be for her baby. And, at this point, her life has sucked so much and been so horrible that having a baby, like for her, this was like her lifeline.
It gives her something to live for.
It does. And she was determined to get her life together and be a really good mom for Joey. Michelle's mother ended up divorcing her father and moving out. So Michelle went with her. But her mom had a new boyfriend who moved in shortly after. And this man...
I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me her boyfriend raped her too.
No, he didn't. But he would get drunk and become very violent. One night, when Joey was 2 years old, he was crying and the man got violent with the little boy.
What?
And broke his leg. Yes. Michelle took Joey to the hospital, but she lied about his injuries because she was so worried that someone was going to try to take him away. So she said that Joey fell down the steps.
Man, see, I'm from the Bronx, so we don't snitch, but I condone snitching in everything this girl has went through. You need to tell that's not snitching.
Well, she was scared that CPS was going to get involved because she's living in this house with her mom and her mom's boyfriend. At this point, she
don't want to be homeless with her
19
kid.
years old. She doesn't have enough money to move out on her own. Exactly. She doesn't want to be homeless with her kid. So she said that he fell down the steps. But the boyfriend called the hospital and admitted to the staff that he did this to the baby. Michelle's worst fear became a reality when they took Joey away from the hospital and put him in foster care, and she lost custody. She spent the next few months having supervised visitation, working to save money to get an apartment, and going to custody hearings to get Joey back. Through this time, she was spending a lot of time with her cousin and her cousin's friend, Ariel Castro. Emily spoke about her dad, Ariel, often. He only lived a few blocks away, and he was a bass player for a really popular salsa band in the area. She saw him pick up Emily from her cousin's house multiple times, so she knew what his van looked like. That's why, the morning of August 23rd, 2002, when she was lost in downtown Cleveland looking for the building she needed to get to for her CPS hearing, and she saw Emily's dad, Ariel, she wasn't very weary of him. She knew who he was. It's her friend's dad. He walked up to her and he said, "Hey, you're one of my daughter's friends, right?" "Yeah," she said. "Can you help me? I'm trying to look for Fidelity Bank and I'm lost." She knew exactly where the bank was. She said, "Sure, I'm lost too. I'm trying to get to this building." She told him the address and he said, "Oh, yeah, I know where that is. Get in, we'll go to the bank and then I'll take you there." So she got in the van and he started driving to his home. She said, "I think you're going the wrong way." And he told her he forgot something. He had to run home really quick. It was only a short drive. And she was like, "Okay, whatever." She's just trying to get to this hearing. That's all she's focused on. And remember, she's like, "This is my friend's dad."
Yeah.
When they pulled up to a large white house on Seymour Avenue, he said, "My dog just had puppies. There's a bunch of them in there. They're so cute. Do you want one?"
He would have got me.
I
would have been up in there and he would have kidnapped me.
Yeah. He said, "You can have one for your baby boy. I bet he'd love a puppy." And Michelle thought how much Joey would love to play with a puppy. She remembered how much he loved it at the park a few months ago when he saw a puppy. So she was like, wow, this might be the perfect surprise for him when I get him back, when I get my own place. So Michelle followed Ariel into the house, and she didn't know she wouldn't leave that house for 11 years.
Wow.
11 years, Russell. Immediately after walking inside, Michelle had a terrible feeling. Ariel grabbed her, and he forced her up to one of the bedrooms. He tied her up with extension cords in the room, and he told her to shut up. Don't make a sound or he's going to kill her. He tied one of the extension cords around her neck, so tight that it almost cut off her air. Michelle says in her book that the house was filthy. It
Of course.
smelled horrible, and it looked like it had never been cleaned. She said she knew she was about to die. And then he hoisted her up on a pole in the room 12 inches off the ground. She's hanging by extension cords by her neck and her arms and her feet on a pole.
Oh, my God.
Suspended in the air. She closed her eyes and she started praying out loud. He beat her head for praying. He then stuffed a dirty sock in her mouth and duct taped her head to keep the sock in. He turned on the radio really loud and blasted salsa music and left the room. She said that she heard his engine start up and she tried to squirm out of the cords. But the more she squirmed, the more the one around her neck tightened. She started getting dizzy. He left her hanging there for 2 days.
Oh, my God.
2 full days. He finally barged in the door with a McDonald's sandwich. He ripped the tape off of her head, and then he tried to feed her, but she wouldn't eat it because she thought maybe he poisoned it. So she clenched her mouth shut, and he was trying to shove the sandwich in her mouth. He got super angry, and he untied one of the cords, and she fell to the ground. But her arms and legs were so numb, she couldn't move because she had been tied up for 2 full days. He then picked her up and took her into the room next door where there was a dirty mattress in the corner. The whole time, he was calling her a dirty little slut, and then he sexually tortured her for the next few hours. Michelle says that she was in so much pain, she couldn't move, and the mattress was covered in blood. When he finished, he laid down next to her, and he said, "I really wish I didn't have to do this to you. My wife left me. I didn't mean to beat her, but I just didn't have the power to stop myself." After this, she thought maybe she could be nice to him and sweet talk him a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a strategy. She said, I know you didn't mean it. You don't have to do this. If you let me go, I won't tell anyone. We can just forget this ever happened." He suddenly stood up and he grabbed her and tied up her hands and feet again. He got his clothes back on, and then he pulled a wad of cash out of his pocket. He threw it in her face and he said, "Here's your payment for your services, you slut."
Whoa.
And walked out. She passed out from the pain, and a few hours later, she was woken up by him grabbing her again. He picked her up and he carried her down to the basement. Now, I want to warn you, the basement, from her descriptions in the book, this is worse than any horror movie I've ever watched. When I was listening to this book, I'm just like, this is the scariest shit I've ever heard. It's so demented. It's worse than any horror movie I've ever seen. So he carries her down to the basement. He threw her on a pile of dirty laundry. And she was trying to fight him off at this point because she had fallen asleep a little bit, but now she had some energy back and her brain kicked in and she's not feeling pain anymore. She's trying to fight. So she's kicking. She's trying to scratch him in the face. He turned on a light bulb hanging from the ceiling. And I can just imagine it's squeak, squeak, squeak,
Yeah.
one single light bulb is the only light in this dark,
Cobwebs
dingy
everywhere.
basement. Exactly.
Spiders and shit.
She said it smelled like rot and mildew down there, and there was junk everywhere. She saw 2 large, rusty chains on the ground. She started screaming, but she knew no one could hear her down there. He managed to chain her ankles and her wrists to the pole, and then he wrapped the chains around her body. When he was done, he took a full-face motorcycle helmet and rammed it on her head.
It is tough.
And she blacked out. A motorcycle helmet. I can't. You're chained to a pole and you have a motorcycle helmet on your head. A stuffy, full-face helmet. Barely able to breathe, probably, because it's so stuffy in there.
I thought you said he hit her in the head with it.
No. He put it on her head.
He put it on her head.
That's even... imagine how scary that is.
Yeah.
She woke up not knowing how long she'd been down there. She was trying to move and get out of the chains, but nothing worked. After moving her arms back and forth for what she thought was 2 hours, she finally got her hands free.
Oh, wow.
Her body was still chained to the pole, and she was able to get the suffocating helmet off of her head so she could breathe a little bit. She kept wiggling the locks on the chains, trying to get free. There was like a padlock and a combination lock on there. And she's sitting there trying to like turn the combination lock, thinking of any amount of different sequence of numbers. She's just trying everything.
Well, you got to try, yeah. It's kind of like you're playing the lotto at that point to get out.
Exactly. She heard his van pull up, and quickly she put the helmet back on her head, and she wrapped the bands and chains back around her hands. He came running down the stairs. Why did you take those chains off?
He saw.
He saw it. I thought I could trust you, but now you have to be punished. He told her if she screams, he will shove the pipe he was holding in his hands down her throat. He then brutalized her for the next few hours. Things so horrific that she couldn't even talk about it in her book. She said that she was in so much shock and fear that all she could do was lie there like she was dead. Michelle said, quote, "In a way, I think part of you has to die to get through a thing like that. It's the only way someone can survive it." When he was done, he threw more dollar bills at her.
What the fuck?
He said, "This is where you're going to stay until you show me I can trust you. And then maybe you can move upstairs." He kept her down there for days, in pitch black, chained to the pole with the motorcycle helmet on her head. I don't know if I've heard of anything more evil than this man. I really don't.
Yeah,
this is like pure evil disgust. I mean, throwing dollar bills at her. And the one thing you'll notice about him, like as I tell this story, and one thing she talked about in her book, is that he is incredibly unpredictable. They never knew who they were dealing with. Like he was super unpredictable. He would, do something nice and then take it away. He also lived in this fantasy world in his head of thinking later on when the other girls end up getting kidnapped and coming into the house, he thinks he's building this like family.
Like a cult?
No, just like a family. It's wild.
How does he get money?
You're going to find out, but he works as a bus driver, a school bus driver.
Oh, shit.
Yes. So he kept her down there for days in the pitch black, chained to the pole with a motorcycle helmet on her head. And after a few days, he came down and he fed her spaghetti. She was starving, so she ate it because she's like, whatever.
Of course.
Like at this point, if you're going to poison me, I'd rather just eat it.
Yeah.
He then loosened the chains a little and he put a bucket next to her to use to go to the bathroom because at this point she had gone to the bathroom on herself.
Yeah.
For the next few weeks, she noticed all of his comings and goings. She stayed down there for weeks. She knew it was morning when she smelled coffee and heard his alarm go off. But she still has this motorcycle helmet on her head 24/7. He then came down to make sure the chains were tight and he was wearing a uniform. He must have been going to work, she thought. He then would come home hours later. She knew it was after work. She would then hear people having sex, but she realized he was upstairs watching porn. And then he would come down every night and rape her. She says the only thing that kept her going was thinking of her son Joey, and that she had to get back to Joey. While being brutalized, she would disassociate completely. She would sing Joey's favorite songs in her head, like The Wheels on the Bus, and imagine Joey playing with his toys and laughing. She would also sing songs, the gospel choir song from the church she used to go to for hot meals. When he finished, he would sit down next to her and talk trash to her. He'd tell her she's nothing but a disgusting slut. He told her no one cares about her and that she's worthless. He said he knew no one cared about her because no one was looking for her. And the saddest thing was, he wasn't lying about that.
This poor girl, man.
No one was looking for Michelle. A few days after her family found out that she didn't make it to the CPS hearing for Joey, her family filed a missing persons report. But since Michelle was 20 years old and considered an adult, police didn't mobilize the way they would if it was a young teen, and her family didn't push it. No one put out flyers. No one went on the news. Her name was nowhere. No one cared to find her.
I care.
I care too.
This is tough.
Her book is, oh my God, I have chills right now.
I hope a lot of people bought her book and she's making enough money to live comfortable at least.
I know. Me too. Ariel Castro was born on July 10th, 1960 in Puerto Rico. He experienced a lot of abuse during his childhood. He suffered physical beatings from his mother, and he was molested by both a relative and a neighbor. He became a man who wanted control, who fed off of the suffering of others. His history of domestic abuse is very well documented. He brutally assaulted his girlfriend, Grimilda Figueroa, breaking her ribs, dislocating her shoulder, and keeping their children in constant fear. He was placed on leave from his job as a school bus driver, which is astonishing to me, after leaving a 4-year-old child alone in the bus for hours on purpose. And he told the kid, he didn't take the kid home, and he told the kid, "Lay down, bitch," to a 4-year-old. And then he parked somewhere, left the kid alone in the bus, scared the kid shitless, and then went about his day. And then came back later and got the bus. And at this point, the kid's parents were looking for him. He was in a union, so he didn't get fired. He got put on leave.
See, that's what unions are not for. They're not to protect pieces of shit. It's to protect workers that are working.
I know. We love unions in this house.
Give you fair, wages and a place to work and safe, a safe place to work. What kind of messed with me a little bit is he's a bus driver. And when she was, when he was torturing her, she would sing The Wheels on the Bus. I'm like, oh yeah. It made my stomach turn.
Yeah. This is a very stomach turning case for sure. Neighbors say that Ariel was a pleasant guy. He always said hi to his neighbors, but he didn't talk much to them. They knew he lived alone, and friends knew about the domestic violence with his ex.
People even ate ribs with him.
Yeah. But they knew about the domestic violence with his ex, but all of these guys that he knew said they didn't get involved because, quote, "You don't get involved with people's marital issues."
It's true.
And I get that. When I was watching interviews of his friends and bandmates, because he was a really good bass player. Everyone says that he was a great bass player, and he, was in this salsa band and they played all over the place. Everyone that knew him thought he was a decently nice guy, but they didn't know intimate details about his life. He did keep people at arm's length. Grimilda Figueroa, his ex-girlfriend, filed multiple police reports, and then she eventually left him with their children in 2002. All of his friends that knew him say they never knew the extent of the abuse Grimilda suffered. He used his childhood plagued with abuse as an excuse for his behavior all the time.
I hate excuses.
I know. And for him...
But you know what? Him doing that, it would give me an excuse to smack the shit out of him.
Yeah, for sure.
Now I have an excuse for that.
Yeah, I hate when people... look at Michelle and everything she went through, and she didn't grow up to be a piece of shit. She was just trying to be a really good mom. People can be abused. People go through a lot of stuff, but you can't use it as a reason to beat women and torture them and all the horrendous evil things he ends up doing.
I probably said this before, but, having a hard life and going through tough times or seeing, how people do bad, hopefully all that motivates you to do better.
Yeah.
It's hard.
No, it's hard.
But sometimes you just got to what I tell myself is shit be like that. And you just got to keep going.
Yeah, you do say that all the time. But it all comes down to a decision. Everyone has a decision that they can make to either turn their life experience of shittiness into good or bad. And this dude chose bad. He chose evil. So all of his band members and friends, they didn't know everything about him. He did keep everyone at arm's length, like I said. But when they did eventually find out the extent of everything he was doing, they were horrified.
Wait, they found out he kept people prisoner?
Yeah, after it all broke. So
after it broke.
Yeah, this whole story.
Well, you know what? You don't know a lot about a lot of people because I've done a lot of activities in my life that I kept certain, I have a friend group for that activity. I mountain bike, I ride with these guys. I go play basketball, I play with these guys.
Yeah.
Play football, I play with these guys. So no one knows I didn't really know what goes on in their life except a little bit.
Yeah, just from talking.
Yeah, someone's like, oh, my fucking wife is nagging me again. I had to get out here and go for a ride or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's as far as we know. Nobody's there like, oh, really? What did she do? Because that's like a Jess question.
Women hang out very differently than men, I feel like.
Yeah, like guys will just like, oh, damn, fuck that. Let's go for a good ride.
Yeah, exactly. So one of my new goals is to drink 2 Stanleys full of water. That's 80 ounces of water every day. I'm notoriously horrible at drinking water, so I'm always looking for ways to make drinking water easier. Having safe, clean water is the last thing you want to worry about, but unfortunately, according to extensive research by the Environmental Working Group, 3 out of 4 homes in America have harmful contaminants in their tap water. That's why you have to check out AquaTrue. AquaTrue purifiers use a 4-stage reverse osmosis purification process, and their countertop purifiers work with no installation or plumbing. It removes 15 times more contaminants than the ordinary pitcher filters, and are specifically designed to combat chemicals in our tap water. The filters are affordable and long-lasting, no changing filters every 2 to 3 months. AquaTrue filters last from 6 months to 2 years. I can seriously taste the difference compared to my old water filter. I got it delivered straight to my home, and it was super easy to set up. AquaTrue comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee and even makes a great gift. Today, our listeners receive 20% off any AquaTrue purifier. Just go to aquatrue.com, that's AQUATRU.com, and enter promo code WIFEOFCRIME1 at checkout. That's 20% off any AquaTrue water purifier when you go to aquatrue.com, use promo code WIFEOFCRIME, WIFEOFCRIME1 at checkout. Guys, spring is here. Fresh air, sunshine, and good food. That's what spring is all about. Now that the days are longer, I do not have time to be inside slaving over a hot stove when it's gorgeous outside. I want to spend as much time outside as possible. So that's why I've been using HelloFresh to make easy, quick meals that taste amazing. We've been using HelloFresh for years because every HelloFresh meal uses high-quality ingredients, seasonal, fresh produce, and proteins that travel from the farm to your doorstep. They also have really flexible deliveries, and you can pause or skip anytime whenever you need. Feel great with meals that fit your spring schedule and make the season even more delicious. Go to HelloFresh.com/wifeofcrime 10FM now to get 10 free meals with a free item for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. HelloFresh.com/wifeofcrime 10FM. Over the next few months, Ariel Castro finally brought Michelle up from the basement and put her in a bedroom on the top floor. She was chained to a radiator and slept on an old, dirty mattress. The same mattress that had her blood all over it. All the windows were boarded up, and she had a bucket next to the bed to pee and poop in. He rarely emptied it. So the room smelled disgusting.
Smelled like him, that rat, stinky bastard.
This would be her life for the next 8 months. Same routine. Every day. He'd go to work, come home, give her McDonald's to eat, get drunk, watch porn, and rape her. He came in once and he said, I know you're bored. Here's a radio. But you better not listen to any black people's music on it. He didn't use the word black people. He was very racist, by the way. He used the N-word.
You know,
and you can't listen to any of that music, he said.
One thing I've learned in life is the stupidest people are racist.
Yeah.
The brokest people are racist. That's like broke boy energy.
Yeah.
You're a loser. You're worrying about the color of someone's skin when you could actually be accomplishing shit. So obviously you have nothing going on in your life.
Yeah, it's true. She was so happy to get this radio.
Mm-hmm.
She said she felt like this radio was her lifeline to the outside world.
Yeah, you could at least see like what's going on, even current events. Like you're part of the world still.
Every day while he worked, she'd listen to music, and it gave her hope. Still, she constantly, through her book, says the one thing that kept her going was Joey and wanting to get back to Joey. This is a tough one, Russ. I'm going to warn you. At one point, she asked Ariel for a puppy.
No.
She didn't think he'd actually get one for her, but he did. He came in with a tiny brown and white pit bull puppy in a box. He told her the dog had to pee and poop in the box or he'd get rid of it. As the months passed, Michelle fell in love with this puppy. It was her entire world.
Obviously, yeah. Like, even when you're not in that situation, that's a bad situation. So a puppy's like a godsend. Even if you have a great life and a puppy comes into it, now your life is even better.
Exactly. She named him Lobo. And the puppy was with her 24/7. Like, he didn't go outside. He was locked up in there with her in that room, and he just peed and pooped in that box. She treated him like it was her new baby. One night, when Lobo was about 5 months old, Ariel came into the room and he was incredibly drunk. He became very violent with Michelle and started hitting her in the face. Lobo started barking and growling at him.
Oh, shit.
And Lobo then bit his leg. Castro picked up the dog
here you go.
and snapped his neck, instantly killing him in front of Michelle as she sobbed. He threw the puppy in the box, took the box, and left.
I could kill this motherfucker with my bare hand.
I know. And Michelle was alone again.
And he was just being a good dog. That's how good dogs are.
Yes. He wanted to protect his mama. That's what he was looking, that all they had was each other. One day, he walked in and said, "You stink." He took her into the filthy bathroom. She said the tub was covered with black gunk. He gave her a sliver of a bar of soap and told her to take a shower. She said there was no hot water, so she took a freezing shower in December. As she washed her body, the water running off of her was brown from the grime and red from the blood. He didn't give her a towel, and then he locked her back up in the bedroom, chained in there with no clothes on. She said the room was freezing. There was one radiator in there, but it was barely giving off any heat. She would remain completely naked in that room for the next 4 months. Months, Russ.
Naked
in December, January, February, March.
Probably no blanket, no nothing.
No blanket. A naked mattress. She's naked, chained to a radiator that gives off hardly any heat for 4 months.
See, what's happening now to me and probably everyone else listening is my blood pressure is getting higher and higher. It's kind of like a meter. Like, I'm just getting madder and madder at him, and like I'm getting more enraged, and I'm pretty sure everyone else is too.
Imagine reading her book, because this is her first-hand account. When you read her book, it's even crazier.
See, I would buy her book to support her, or just give her some money on a GoFundMe. Like,
yeah,
but I can't listen to the book. This is hard enough.
I know, and I'm leaving things out. She begged for clothes or a blanket, but he refused. One thing that the women said in multiple interviews is how unpredictable he was. He would give them things and then just take it away. He would be nice and then incredibly mean, all in a matter of minutes. He played mind games with all of them all the time. Eventually, he brought a small piece of fabric into Michelle's room for her to cover up, but it barely covered her body. It was better than nothing, she said. He also brought in a TV. She was so happy to have a TV. But he told her, "I better not see a black person on this TV, or I'm going to beat you. You'll get punished." So she wasn't allowed to watch any TV shows, and if he walked in the room, there couldn't be a black person on the TV, or she was going to be punished. So she had to be really careful, when he was close by, what she put on.
See, I don't know what happened to him. I'm assuming he's in jail, and I hope he's in jail with black people that beat the shit out of him.
Every day. Multiple times a day.
Yeah, and they take his fruit cup. He never gets dessert. And they take his butt cheeks and everything. They just take everything that he wants.
So she watched Everybody Loves Raymond all the time. That was her favorite show.
I used to watch that show,
Yeah.
but the mom started getting on my nerves too much after watching for a long time.
Yeah.
So I stopped watching.
The TV made her feel more connected to the outside world, even more connected than the radio. April 21st, 2003, Amanda Berry, just 16 at the time, vanished the day before her birthday. She was leaving her shift at Burger King when her friend Ariel Castro's dad pulled up and asked Amanda if she needed a ride home. She said sure. She knew her friend's dad decently well and thought nothing of it. Ariel told Amanda that Emily was at his house and asked her if she wanted to stop by real quick and see her. And Amanda's like, sure, I haven't seen Emily in a few weeks. Ariel said, here's some money. You guys can go to the mall and hang out today. We'll go pick up Emily from my house and I'll take you to the mall. Amanda thought that sounded great because her birthday was tomorrow. She was like ready to buy an outfit for it. When they got to the house and walked in, Ariel told Amanda that Emily was in the bathroom taking a shower. He walked her upstairs to what he says is Emily's room so that she could wait there. They walked by a room and Amanda heard a TV on, and through a hole where the doorknob is supposed to be, he saw a woman lying on the bed. Ariel said it's his roommate. It was Michelle.
See, the only way he's getting away with these girls, yeah, they're not women yet, they're like 15, not like leaving the house as soon as they open the door, like, oh my God, this is a fucking pigsty, is because they're girls.
Also because that's their friend's dad.
Yes, but also if you're a grown woman with more life experience, I think you might, like, ew.
Yeah, like I'm not walking in there.
Yeah, like you're more secure in being able to tell someone to fuck off as you get older.
Yeah, as you get older. But also,
you're like, oh, I'm not going in this fucking pigsty.
I mean, you have to think, like, targeting his daughter's friends. I'm not trying to say that this was he's smart. I don't want to ever say that, but like, it made it easier.
It was a strategy.
It was a strategy for him. It was easier for him.
Where is his daughter?
They don't live with him. Remember, they left. His family left him. So he's alone in the house, but the girls don't know all the details. They might think, oh, Emily has a room in her dad's house. So, he said that this woman is his roommate, but it was Michelle. Suddenly, he grabbed her and he took her down to the basement.
Oh, no. I'm hoping that being more than one, hopefully they could strategize together to get out. Like, we know, obviously, they get out in the future, but hopefully they find some companionship, or he lets, if they're able to, like, talk.
Well, he chained her to the pole, and he put the helmet on her as well. And, in Michelle's book, she doesn't know yet at this point that Amanda's even here. She has no idea. She was laying upstairs watching TV. She didn't realize there was anyone else in the house because she didn't hear it, right? So Michelle's upstairs, chained up. Amanda is in the basement. And we're going to assume that he does the same things to Amanda. Amanda doesn't publicly talk a lot about everything. And I didn't read Amanda's book, but Amanda wrote a book as well. Amanda and Gina wrote a book together. And of course, in that book, they probably shared the different horrors that they endured. But Michelle, spoke very, brutally honest about everything she went through. So we can only assume Amanda was going through the same thing in the basement. Meanwhile, a few days later, Michelle sees a news report on TV about a missing 16-year-old girl named Amanda Berry. She immediately knew it had to be Ariel that did this. Within a few weeks, Ariel started blasting salsa music again. Michelle was listening hard to see if she could hear any noises in the house, try to see if she could hear screaming, under the salsa music, because he blasted this music to drown out their screams. That's why he did it.
Yeah.
Imagine how triggered these women must get to this day when they hear salsa music.
Oh, my God.
Imagine immediately how triggered they are. I can't even fathom. All that's what he used to drown out their screams and abused them, so horribly to salsa music. If I heard it after that, I would be so triggered.
Yeah, like next thing you know, Elvis Crespo goes suavemente, and you're like, fuck. Like, I'm just so mad that, like, this dude, if he's locked up right now, he doesn't even deserve the food he eats.
No, he doesn't deserve anything.
He doesn't deserve air. Like, how do you make his life as miserable as you can and make him suffer?
Mm-hmm.
This is why, like, some of these other countries, they do it right. Like, people that do stuff like this, but then, you know, it's a slippery slope, 'cause then they'll get other people too. But, like, dudes like this deserve to be tortured, and they should fillet his penis right off of him.
Yeah, he definitely deserves to be tortured. Finally, after a few weeks, the two girls come face to face. Ariel introduced the two of them. Michelle, still naked, saw Amanda, but they weren't allowed to speak to each other. The two women were chained in rooms next to each other. He started playing games with Michelle. He kept her naked, but he allowed Amanda to have clothes. He took the TV out of Michelle's room that was color and gave it to Amanda, and gave Michelle a smaller black and white crappy TV. She didn't understand why Amanda got those things and she didn't. I think he was trying to keep them separate, trying to create jealousy between them.
Oh, he wanted them to hate each other.
Yeah, so they wouldn't band together, right?
You know,
he's trying to keep them apart and have this jealousy between them because he didn't want them to strategize or do anything to kind of try to, you know, work together. But it didn't work. Michelle wasn't jealous of Amanda. She just didn't understand it, but she didn't have animosity. She was terrified for her, and she was worried about her the whole time. At one point, Ariel called Amanda's mom from Amanda's cell phone and said, "Amanda's safe now. She'll be home soon," and then hung up.
Oh, so her family probably kept paying her cell phone bill hoping she would call?
Well, yeah, this has only been a couple weeks.
Oh, that's
She's been
it?
missing a few weeks.
It just seems like all this stuff has been going on so long. Because you said 11 years, so I didn't know what year we were in.
Yeah, no, we're in the beginning right now.
Oh, my God.
After that, Amanda's family was all over the media, begging for help to find her. There were flyers everywhere, and he would put the press conferences on TV for Amanda to watch.
You know what? That probably gives them hope that people are looking for them, though.
It did. I think it, you know, in his mind, he was doing it to torture her.
Like,
but in her mind, she was like, I'm going to get out so you guys know I'm alive. Because imagine you're watching it. How helpless of a feeling is that? You're chained to a radiator, watching your family beg for information, and you're right there. I mean, it's not like they live far. They lived in the same neighborhood.
And you probably say out loud as you're watching it, like, I'm right here.
I know. He would always put the press conferences on TV for Amanda to watch, and he would always remind Michelle that no one was looking for her. And this went on for weeks. A few months after Amanda got to the house, Michelle became pregnant. When Ariel realized that she was pregnant, he starved her for days. Then he walked into the room with a barbell.
No.
And he beat Michelle in the stomach until she miscarried. Michelle would get pregnant 5 times over the course of 11 years in captivity, and he would beat her until she miscarried each and every time.
It's fucking terrible.
Amanda and Michelle remained separated for the rest of 2003 and into 2004, never interacting with each other. But Ariel would violate both women on a daily basis. In the spring of 2004, Michelle saw another news report pop up on TV. On April 2nd, 14-year-old, Gina DeJesus went missing while walking home from middle school. She wasn't even in high school yet. She was in middle school, 8th grade.
Wow.
She was walking home with her friend, Ariel Castro, the younger Castro daughter. Arlene was going to come over to Gina's house. The girls stopped at a payphone and called Arlene's mom to see if it was okay. But her mom said no, so the girls went their separate ways. Gina, walking alone, suddenly saw a man pull up beside her. It was Ariel. Not only was Ariel Arlene's dad, but Ariel Castro was good friends with Gina's mother and father. This was her parents' friend.
Wow.
Imagine.
So then, like
this is a
they're
family
gonna
friend.
talk to him about where's my daughter.
Yes.
Not to, like my daughter's missing.
Yes. They knew each other since childhood. He offered Gina a ride home, but said he had to stop at the house first. And Gina knew him so well and thought, okay, no problem. He invited her in the house, and once he closed and locked the door, he said, okay, now I want to see your private parts.
Whoa.
That's exactly what he said to her. Okay, now I want to see your private parts. She gave him a weird look, and she said, no, you'll go to jail. He apologized and said, sorry, that was wrong of me. Maybe you should go. But you're not going to go through the front door. I'm actually going to take you through the back. You have to go through the basement to get to the backyard.
Oh, no.
She just wanted to get out of there. So she walked down the basement stairs and he followed behind her. Suddenly he grabbed her. She tried to fight him off, but obviously she wasn't strong enough. He tied her to the pole, just like he did with Michelle and Amanda, and he put the motorcycle helmet on her head. Michelle says that night she could hear screams coming from the basement, and he started blasting the salsa music to drown out the screams. She just knew Gina was there. Eventually, he introduced Michelle and Gina and ended up putting them in the same room and chaining them together. He left Amanda in the other room alone. He told Michelle and Gina that Amanda was his new wife. When Gina's family held a candlelight vigil weeks later, Ariel went to the candlelight vigil. He hugged her parents. He even joined the search party for Gina.
That reminds me of when, serial killers return to the scene of the crime.
Yeah, and serial killers who joined search parties and stuff. Listen to this. He told her parents, what kind of monster would take a little girl like this? The audacity for
He's
him to say
mocking
that.
them.
Over the course of the next year, all three women lived a life of captivity and torture. Amanda being secluded from the other two, only interacting when he allowed it and was right there. Gina and Michelle were chained together 24/7, and that means they would be raped while the other one laid next to her. They just had to lay there and watch it happen. They also had to pee and poop right next to each other. Michelle was a lot older than Gina, and she saw her as a little sister who she just wanted to protect as much as she could. He kept his handgun on his hip at all times as a constant reminder that if the girls tried anything, he would shoot them.
That's their chance, is to try to maybe get that gun from them.
He started having cake and celebrating the day the girls were abducted, treating it like a birthday party.
Wow.
Fucking disgusting. He made the girls play Russian roulette on numerous occasions with his gun.
Oh my God. There must have not been a bullet though, because they're all still.
No, there were bullets in there.
What?
He made them play Russian roulette.
Oh my
At
God.
one point, Michelle threw the gun across the room because she was angry and bullets came out. So that's why she knew that there were bullets in there. The whole time, though, he allowed the girls to have notebooks. Amanda kept a journal, and she wrote every single day. She wrote letters to her mom, and in the top corner of every page, she wrote the amount of times she was assaulted that day.
I can't believe that he would let her keep a journal.
Yeah, he let all the girls keep journals. He let them all have have pencils and paper to color and stuff and write things.
I was thinking that he would let them have stuff for that, but not let them actually write down what has happened to them.
So what she did was she put a code at the top of the page, Amanda did. For every time he raped her, she put 3X or 2X at the top of the page. She said in interviews that she did this so that one day, if they were ever found, cops can count the amount of times that he raped her and that hopefully they can charge him and he'll pay for it. He also started allowing the girls to shower weekly, which for Michelle, it was like she was so grateful for it, considering he didn't let her shower for the first 8 months she was there. I mean, 8 months.
Yeah.
Imagine. In November of 2004, Amanda Berry's mom, Luana Berry, appeared on the Montel Williams show to ask the celebrity psychic Sylvia Brown. Do you remember Sylvia Brown?
I do remember Sylvia Brown, but I also do remember who dated Montel Williams.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know.
Kamala Harris was one of his harems.
Yes, she was.
He had 2 chicks.
He did.
She was one of them.
At the same time.
And now you think back, Montel Williams?
Yeah.
You should at least went for Montel Jordan.
Well, Sylvia Brown, she was like a famous psychic. She was on Oprah, Maury. She was on all the shows at the time.
I remember her weird face.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? None of the ghosts they talk to or anything ever tells them to get a better haircut. All the medium's hair is always terrible.
Like Teresa Caputo, the Long Island medium.
Yeah,
It looks like a helmet.
yeah, they always have terrible style hair. It's always like some mom from the suburbs that said, I'm just going to start telling you I spoke to your mom.
Well, Sylvia Brown really pissed me off and pissed a lot of people off and Amanda off because Amanda watched the episode on TV and saw Sylvia tell her mother, "You will see her again in heaven because she's dead." Amanda was watching this episode sobbing in desperation, wishing she could scream through the TV and tell her mother, "I'm alive, don't give up, don't give up." Luckily, she didn't give up. She continued to appear in the media and beg for answers. She and Gina's parents appeared on America's Most Wanted because police finally linked the 2 cases together.
Oh, shit.
Over the course of the next 2 years, the media reported these 2 cases as linked. And, the families of both girls were very, very outspoken and on TV all the time.
That's good. That's good because sometimes, we all think like, oh, this person's been missing this long, they're obviously dead. But if they didn't find the body and if there's even a sliver of a chance, don't give up hope.
Don't give up hope. It's true. So over the course of the next few years, the women thought of numerous ways to try to escape the house. It was like the topic of conversation constantly. Gina and Michelle, because they shared a room and they were chained together, they discussed escape plans all the time. But he was too unpredictable and too on top of them for them to try any of the things they came up with. In 2006, Amanda became incredibly ill. She was throwing up every single day. And Ariel told Michelle he thinks Amanda's pregnant. He didn't force a miscarriage, however.
Oh, shit.
He called Amanda his wife, so he made her carry the baby. In November of 2006, Amanda's mom, Luana, died of heart failure. She was young, and a lot of people think that she died of a broken heart because she was so stressed out, just constantly fighting for her daughter to come back. And
that's a thing because if you ever notice, couples that have been together a long time, when one passes away, a lot of times very soon after,
the other one
goes.
Yeah. So Michelle saw on the news that Luana died, and she broke the news to Amanda. And she said Amanda was devastated and sobbed for days. Luana never knew that her daughter was still alive. A month later, on Christmas Day, 2006, Amanda started going into labor. He wouldn't take her to a hospital, so he unchained Michelle and told her she had to deliver Amanda's baby. She coached her through the whole delivery. But when the baby came out, the baby was blue and not breathing. Ariel started screaming at Michelle, telling her if she doesn't save the baby, he will kill her. She had no idea what she was doing, but she just started pumping on the baby's chest and breathing into its mouth. And a few moments later, the baby girl started to cry.
Wow.
Jocelyn was born into this captivity. And in the beginning, Ariel refused to buy her diapers or clothes, so the girls would make her clothes out of their clothes. Amanda says she thinks her mother sent Jocelyn to them to save them. And I think she might be right. Over the course of the next couple years, as Jocelyn grew to be a toddler, Ariel doted on her and treated her very well. He still treated all the women horrendously, still doing all the same things to these women. But Jocelyn was the apple of his eye. He bought her toys. He let her run around the house free. He called the girls' chains their bracelets until Jocelyn was about 2 years old and started asking questions. He then would unchain the girls when he and Jocelyn were in the room so she wouldn't see them all chained up. The baby gave the girls hope, and it gave them a distraction and something to care for. I mean, they're all 3 women now, and women just innately have this motherly instinct inside of us. And if we see a little kid, we're going to care for it.
Yeah.
Jocelyn kept the women going and focused on her instead of the horror they were living. Jocelyn didn't leave the house at all either. No son whatsoever until she was 3 years old.
Wow.
Ariel told friends and family that she was his girlfriend's daughter, and he would take her to the store, he would take her to McDonald's, and he would even take her to church. When she was 4 years old, they would play school, and the girls would pretend to be Jocelyn's teachers in a classroom. They tried to create some type of normal childhood in this completely unimaginable situation for this little girl. And over the course of the decade that these women were held captive, there are conflicting reports about how many times the cops were called by neighbors. From what I've read, there are about 6 different reports from neighbors of them calling the cops for various reasons, like noises, screaming, even seeing women with dog collars on naked in the backyard. Okay.
What?
There was someone who called the cops and said, there's a guy at 2207 Seymour Avenue, and he has 3 women that are naked with dog collars on and leashes in the backyard.
And how did he continue to get away with this?
Cops deny this, but neighbors say the cops would show up, knock on the door, and when no one would answer, they would just leave, and they wouldn't come back.
I wonder how that works, though, because you can't just bust in any home.
If you have a report of something like that, you're going to do more than just knock on a door and then leave and never come back. Never come back? Never try? Never investigate?
I don't know how that works.
Different calls?
No, I'm saying I don't know what they're legally able to do. How much do you need before you can get a warrant to go in someone's house?
I think you either need imminent danger of life or a warrant.
What?
But also,
no, I'm saying, how do you get the warrant? Because is seeing someone in a dog collar naked in a backyard and people screaming enough to get them a warrant?
I don't know, but all I know is the fact that they never came back and pursued anything is atrocious. So, they deny this, the cops deny that what the neighbors say, but the neighbors all agree that this happened on numerous occasions. And I believe the neighbors, okay? Because Cleveland PD is going to try to save face.
Well, I believe the neighbors too, because they have no reason to lie. If the police would say in that time that they didn't get that call because they didn't follow up.
Yeah.
So they have a motive to lie to keep jobs and shit like that. Now, I'm not taking anyone's side, but I just want that motherfucker down.
Exactly. So May 6th, 2013 started like any other day. Michelle and Gina were in their room, chained together, and Amanda was in her room. Jocelyn was downstairs with Ariel. Amanda wasn't chained up because he kept her door locked at all times. And Amanda heard Ariel leave the house and his car drive off. But suddenly, Jocelyn walks in the room. Amanda's door was unlocked.
Oh, shit.
Daddy left, Jocelyn said. Amanda didn't know if this was another trick. He used to leave all the time and then pop back up to see if the girls had tried to escape. He did this more times than any of them could count over the course of 10 years. And so they never chanced it, afraid that this was another trick. But today, Amanda decided to walk downstairs. She walked down the steps slowly, anticipating his car to pull back up at any moment. She finally reached the front door, and he still wasn't there. So she opened it. It wasn't locked.
Freedom.
But the storm door was padlocked.
Kick that bitch.
She could open it just enough to stick her arm out. So she did, and she started waving frantically and yelling, "Help me, help me." And then she started banging on the door as much as she could. And a woman across the street sitting on her porch heard her yelling and called police. A man on his front porch, eating his McDonald's, also heard the scream and decided to approach the door. He kicked the bottom of the door so she could crawl out. His name was Charles Ramsey.
Let's go, Charles.
And his
AKA Mr. Ramsey if you're nasty.
And his 911 call is actually hilarious, and it's much needed levity after this whole story. So I'm going to play his 911 call because it cracks me up.
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm a little bit down right now.
Yeah, this 911 call will pick us all back up, okay?
All right.
Cleveland 911 police, ambulance or fire.
Yeah, hey, bro, I'm at 2207 Seymour, West 25th. Hey, check this out. I just came from McDonald's, right? So I'm on my porch eating my little food, right? This broad is trying to break out the fucking house next door to me. So there's a bunch of people on the street right now and shit. So we like, well, what's wrong with what's the problem? She like, this motherfucker done kidnapped me and my daughter, and we've been in this bitch. She think her name is Linda Berry or some shit. I don't know who the fuck that is. I just moved over here, bro.
Sir,
You know what I mean?
sir, you have to calm down and slow down. Is she still in the street?
Seymour Avenue.
Is she still in the street, or where did she go?
Yeah, I'm looking at her. She right now. She calling y'all. She on another phone.
Is she black, white, or Hispanic?
She white, but the baby look Hispanic.
Okay, what is she wearing?
White tank top, light blue, sweatpants. Like a white beater.
Do you know the address next door that she said she was in?
Yeah, 2207. I'm looking at it.
Okay, I thought that was your address. So that house.
No, I'm smarter than that, bro. I'm telling you where the crime was.
Okay, look, sir, we can't talk at the same time. Do you want to leave your name and number or remain anonymous?
Charles Ramsey, R-A-M-S-E-Y.
What's the phone number? Are the people she said that did this, do you know if they're still in the house?
Cool, bro. I just said I came from McDonald's.
Can you ask her if she needs an ambulance?
Ambulance? Or what? She needs everything. She's in a panic, bro. I think she's been kidnapped, so, put yourself in her shoes.
We'll send the police out. Thank you.
She need everything. Put yourself in her shoes.
Thang, Thang. See, but that 911 operator was very sassy.
He was sassy.
Like, we can't talk at the same time. All right, there's a way to do stuff. He gave you the address, get people over there.
But also, he's like,
first of all,
he's
just trying to finish his food.
Yeah, no, but
from the best restaurant that's ever been created in mankind.
But really, though, imagine seeing that. Like, he's in shock. He's like, he's excited, but out of like, oh my God, this is crazy shit.
Nah, he's like this all the time.
Probably.
This is him.
So
she need everything.
She need everything. She was kidnapped. Put yourself in her shoes. That's what he said. I love that part.
Good. No one better could have found them.
Yeah.
Because he don't give a fuck. He's bold.
Mm-hmm.
He'll kick the door in.
Yeah.
You get some timid people. They're like, oh, no, let me go.
No, I'm glad it was him. And he kicked in the door.
Yeah. Waving the 4-4. All I heard was Charles Ramsey, don't hit me no more. In the words of the great Biggie Smalls.
Yes. So at the same time that Charles was making his 911 call, Amanda also made an emotional 911 call.
Cleveland 911. Hello, please. Help me. I'm Amanda Berry.
You need police, fire, or ambulance.
I need police.
Okay, and what's going on there?
I've been kidnapped, and I've been missing for 10 years, and I'm here. I'm free now.
Okay, and what's your address?
2207 Seymour Avenue.
2207 Seymour. Looks like you're calling me from 2210. Looks like you're calling me from 2210.
I can't hear you.
It looks like you're calling me from 2210 Seymour.
Yeah, I'm across the street. I'm using the phone.
Okay, stay there with those names. Talk to the police when they get there.
Okay.
Okay, talk to the police when they get there.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah, talk to the police when they get there.
Okay, I'm on the way right now. I need them now.
As soon as we get a car open.
No, I need them now before we get back.
All right, we're sending them, okay?
Okay, I mean,
Who's the guy? Who's the guy you're who's the guy who went out?
His name is Ariel Castro.
All right, how old is he?
He's like 52.
All right, and
Steven, I'm Amanda Berry. I've been on the news for the last 10 years.
Okay, I got that here. And you said, what was his name again?
Ariel Castro.
And is he white, black, or Hispanic?
He's Hispanic.
What's he wearing?
I don't know, because he's not here right now. That's why I got away.
When he left, what was he wearing?
It's okay. What?
The police are on the way. Talk to them when they get there. Okay?
Okay.
I told you they're on the way. Talk to them when they get there, okay?
All right, okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yo.
Yeah, so that call had a lot of controversy around it.
So him saying, the only part that would have blew my mind is when he said, we'll send a car when one is open.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he said, I told you a car is coming. No, you didn't, bitch. You said they were busy.
Yeah, and she was like,
and
you gotta send somebody before he comes back.
Yeah, and he sounded fat. He definitely had a fat voice. I picture like Fluffy the comedian.
So that call got a lot of controversy around it.
Stay fat, don't get kidnapped. I'm down with the fat people too, folks.
Okay, so that call had a lot of controversy, but the 911 operator ended up making a public apology for the way they handled that call.
911 operators get to just wing it and do what they think is best, and there isn't like certain things they should say in certain situations.
We have a few 911 operators that listen to us, and we have a couple in our crime family, in our Patreon, and they have explained for us on multiple occasions, if you read all the comments, that they are trained in what to say, and they also
but sometimes they
have people watching them, asking them questions while they're trying to ask the caller questions. It's like, like when I try to talk to you while you aren't on the phone with somebody, like, and I'm interrupting your conversation and you're trying to hear what I'm saying, but also trying to hear what the person on the phone is saying. That's what goes on with them a lot. I'm not saying that this person did the right thing. I'm just saying that it's a high stress job.
Well, everyone wings it because everyone here says something different. I told you to cop. No, you didn't. And the other guy, I forgot what he even said, but he annoyed me too.
Yeah, I know. Both calls annoyed a lot of people. You're not alone in that. And
first of all,
when I first heard them, it annoyed me too. But I'm trying really hard lately because everyone's hard on 911 operators. Everyone gives them a hard time.
No, I liked how this guy started. I liked that he said, what do you need? Fire department, ambulance, police. So right there, I like that. I need police and I'm here. And she gave the address and he said, but your phone says you're here. Right there, me personally, I would have been annoyed. I'm like, I know what numbers look like. Send them where I told you, you fat fuck. But like, he wasn't that bad.
So pretty much the entire Cleveland PD showed up, as well as FBI.
So I guess they were all available because he said, we'll see if one comes available.
Well, when they found out it was Amanda Berry, who's
motherfucker, anyone's kidnapped, you get them.
Yeah, I agree. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just...
What do we have, names that are more important than others?
Her name has been in the news for 10 years.
I get it.
Yeah, it's a high...
But someone's name might be in the news 10 years if you prioritize different people. Once you find out someone's kidnapped and go get them.
I agree.
What else are you going to do? Give someone a ticket for rolling through a stop sign?
I agree. I'm just telling you why the entire Cleveland PD showed up.
I guess they all had nothing to do then. He was just talking shit.
So the entire Cleveland PD showed up, as well as FBI and all the media. And it was a complete frenzy. Amanda told police Gina and Michelle were in the house as well, and police went in searching for them. But the two girls, they didn't know any of this went down, right? They're chained up in their room. They didn't know this was going down. They don't have windows. He boarded up all the windows in the house, so they can't see outside. So they hear all this commotion, but they don't know what's happening. And they hear people busting in the house and they're scared. So they hide behind the bed.
That's crazy. I would have been so happy.
Well, they were happy once they realized it was cops, but they didn't know what was going on. They really didn't. So finally, when they saw, and it was dark in there, right? Because there's no window, there's no sunlight coming in. So they finally saw the badges shining in the like dim light of the rooms.
Yeah.
They saw the badges from the cops, and they both ran out. And Michelle said she grabbed on to the female cop and she wouldn't let her go.
Wow.
She said she held on to her until she got all the way outside of the house. She refused to let her go because she was like, I can't let go of you until you get me out of this hell.
You're my lifeline.
Yes. So all three women were rushed to the hospital. Amanda and Gina were reunited with their families at the hospital. Michelle's mother came to see her the next day. Okay, the next day. Let me just make that clear. The next day.
Well, Michelle's family was the one
that didn't do anything for her.
Yeah.
But she refused to see her mother. She was so angry that no one looked for her. And to this day, Michelle has cut off all communication with her family. Michelle was in and out of the hospital for that year, dealing with complications from all the abuse she endured.
Wow.
She had a broken jaw in multiple places. She had to get jaw surgery from being punched in the face so many times.
Oh, my God.
She also was septic twice and almost died from sepsis one of those times.
Was she septic in his house?
Yes. So he had forced another miscarriage on her prior to them being freed, and that miscarriage caused her to become septic.
So if they didn't come get her when they did, she might have died?
Oh, she would have died.
Oh, she would have died?
100%, because she was in really rough shape.
What does septic actually mean?
It means that bacteria has traveled to your bloodstream
Okay.
from wherever an infection is. So you get an infection that's local, and then it spreads, and then eventually it spreads to your bloodstream, and then your entire body goes into septic shock.
And that's not fun.
No, you die. After being released from the hospital, she moved into an assisted living facility. She spent weeks at the hospital because, like I said, she almost died from sepsis. But she was dealing with social workers. She refused to see her family. And so these social workers set her up to move into an assisted living facility. So she lived with a bunch of old people.
And play bingo and relax.
Yeah, I mean, she said that the old people that lived there were lovely, and she actually had tons of great conversations with them and got to know all of them. But one thing she didn't like about the assisted living facility is that her life was still very controlled.
Yeah, she still has to go to her room.
Yeah, she still has a controlled environment, and that's the one thing about it. She's like, I know they were trying to help me, but I hated that they still told me what to do because I've been controlled for the last 11 years.
Can she go outside and leave if she wanted to, or it's
Well, she could, but she didn't have anywhere to go. I mean, she didn't have any family. She had no money. She had tons of mental health issues at this point that she had to deal with. She started seeing a counselor while she lived there. But eventually, over the course of a few months, she was able to save up enough money to get an apartment, her own apartment.
Wow, that must have felt like a castle.
Yeah. When she describes it in the book.
The weight off of her chest,
yeah.
The burden of the world. I'm feeling it now for her.
Yeah. She found out through CPS.
Safety.
Yes, exactly. She found out through CPS that Joey had been adopted by a loving family.
That's good.
And that he was thriving. She spoke with his adopted parents, who were very apprehensive and did not want to allow her in his life at this point. They told Michelle that he's doing amazing in school. He's a very happy kid. He's getting good grades. He has lots of friends. And since he was only in middle school at this time, Michelle decided she didn't want to confuse him or disrupt his good life.
Oh, man, how hard is that?
So she made the decision, which I can't imagine how hard it would be, but she made the decision to agree with the adoptive parents and not see him and wait until he was 18 years old and hope that he makes contact.
Think about this. She loved him so much, she was willing to not talk to him so he can do better.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
I know.
It's probably the wrong word, crazy. But
No,
you know what I mean?
It's amazing that she was that selfless after all that, because Joey was her reason for surviving that house.
Yeah.
Joey was her reason for pushing to get out and for, disassociating during all the abuse. I mean, that's who she thought of when she would disassociate. And now she has the opportunity to fight for him again, but she knows that he's living a good life. Like, why am I going to disrupt this kid's life just because I want him, And it was very selfless on her part. So she told the adoptive parents that she would wait, but she did ask for pictures and updates, and they gave her those. They gave her a bunch of pictures.
That's a little compromise.
Yeah, they gave her a bunch of pictures, and she now holds on to them. She keeps them in a safe place, and every single morning when she wakes up, she takes all of his pictures and she lays them out on a table, and she drinks her coffee and looks at his pictures.
So till this day, it's still that type of relationship?
So as of the last interview I saw with Michelle, which was 2 years ago, Joey was about to turn 18. And she had not seen him or contacted him, but she is hoping that he'll contact her.
Well, being that this story is in the public, it has a better chance of reaching him.
But she says,
But it's so traumatic what your mother went through while you were just living your life and carefree, and as you should as a young person.
Kid, yeah. But she says, I don't even know if his name's Joey. I don't know his name. I don't know where he lives. I don't know any. She's not allowed to have his whereabouts or his name. So she doesn't even know if his name's Joey. She doesn't even know if he's still in Cleveland. She doesn't know anything about him.
Maybe he left Cleveland like LeBron did and took his talents to South Beach.
Maybe. In August of 2013, Ariel Castro went on trial. He had 937 charges.
I've been dying to know what happened to this piece of shit motherfucker.
Including kidnapping, multiple rapes, and murder. In Ohio, a forced miscarriage is considered a homicide. So he was charged with the murders of all of Michelle's babies.
I was so worried that he wouldn't get charged with murder because he didn't murder anyone and he could possibly get out one day. Even if he did 20 or 30, I don't even want him out at 80.
Yeah. He pled not guilty. During his sentencing hearing, Castro said he's not an evil man, but instead a sick man who endured his own sexual abuse growing up, and that's the reason for his actions. Give me a fucking break. Michelle wanted to speak at his trial. Gina and Amanda chose not to speak and not to attend. And everyone deals with grief and fear and anger and sadness differently. None of the ways the women went on to handle their lives was wrong. I must say, Michelle, however, gives some real boss bitch energy. So she wanted to attend his sentencing hearing, and not only did she want to attend, she wanted to give a victim impact statement and speak. She got walked up to the microphone, and she spoke directly to Castro. This is a piece of her statement, and I find it so poignant. Quote, "You said at least I didn't kill you, for you took 11 years of my life away, and I've got it back. I spent 11 years in hell, and now your hell is just beginning. I will overcome all this that happened.
Let's go.
And you will face hell for eternity. From this moment on, I will not let you define me.
Love it.
Or affect who I am. I will live on, and you will die a little every day. As you think about the 11 years and atrocities you inflicted on us, what does God think of you hypocritically going to church every Sunday, coming home to torture us? The death penalty would be so much easier, and you don't deserve that. You deserve to spend your life in prison."
Needs to put him in jail with the booty bandit.
All three women wanted him to spend his life in prison, rotting, and being tortured by other inmates in jail. He was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, plus 1,000 years. 1 month later, though, on September 23rd, 2013, Ariel Castro died by suicide.
Fuck.
He hung himself in his cell by his bedsheet with a note close by talking about God forgiving him and blah, blah, blah. I don't even want to read the
I
note.
hate that shit when these piece of shits say they found Jesus in jail. No. If there is a Jesus, Jesus ain't for you. Forgiven isn't for everyone. Not for that type of shit. This motherfucker doesn't deserve any forgiveness. There's no forgiveness for this. Do you want to go to a heaven where this piece of shit is up there chilling?
No, I don't.
Exactly.
I don't.
Exactly. Don't even, no. Imagine you go up there and this motherfucker's there chilling. Oh, I did all this. I was going to die. I hung myself and I had 3 minutes for forgiveness. No, bitch.
I agree, Russ. I do. I agree with you. Well, all three women took this very hard because they wanted him to rot in prison and they knew this was the easy way out. He didn't even spend a month in prison is so much easier than what these girls went through. And he couldn't even spend a month in prison and they were held captive for 11 years.
Pussy ass bitch. I would have sent him in a cell with someone and saying, don't let him kill himself. Keep an eye on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take care of you with like honey buns and Swiss rolls.
Yeah. Like don't let him even kill himself.
Yeah. Don't let him. We gonna see. This is why I could never be a CO.
Yeah.
He needs everything. I'm very upset.
I know. He needs, I know. It's a shame that he killed himself because he deserved to rot. The house at 2207 Seymour Avenue was bulldozed to the ground a couple months later. Michelle wanted to be there for that too. She passed out balloons to the media and everyone who came. And she said, this balloon represents one of the hundreds of people still missing. We'll never stop searching for them. All three women went on to not only survive this nightmare, but thrive in their life after this hell. Michelle wrote 2 books titled Finding Me, which is the one I used as one of my sources for this episode, and her second book is called Life After Darkness. She also changed her name to Lily Rose Lee, and she met a man named Miguel and got married.
Aww.
She found out in the hospital that she will never have children due to all the trauma that her body endured between the assaults and the forced abortions of her babies. But she does want children in her life, so possibly through adoption. She currently does multiple speaking engagements for victims of violent crimes, encouraging survivors to keep going and create a beautiful life for themselves. She also opened an animal rescue that she and Miguel run together.
Wow. Where is this?
It's in Cleveland.
Look it up, folks.
I don't know exactly where.
Help out the animal.
Amanda Berry and Gina DeJesus wrote a book together called Hope, a memoir of survival in Cleveland. And it was actually on the New York Times bestseller list for a while. Amanda Berry also got a job for Fox News in Cleveland, hosting a segment for missing persons cases.
Oh, good for her.
And so she's on their local news station and she talks about missing persons cases on there. Gina DeJesus and her cousin created clevelandmissing.org, a nonprofit that helps families of missing children and adults. And on their website, their mission statement says, quote, "The center's mission is centered around providing a broad range of services free of charge, ensuring that no family has to struggle for resources while navigating the overwhelming experience of searching for a missing loved one." So they literally took this situation and they made amazing lives for themselves. They also advocate for other victims and survivors. And it's just incredible. Don't get me wrong. If someone went through all of this and then went on to live a super quiet life and worked a 9-to-5 job and just stayed single and became a cat lady, I totally would think that's amazing that they were even able to do that.
You know what?
But these women thrived.
I don't even know if I could do that. I might disappear. I might, be an advocate. I don't know, but they're doing something that can help other people.
Yeah.
And you're right though. I might just disappear. And I just got to slow down and relax. And
everyone deals with stuff different, but these three women just created amazing things for themselves and helped others, which is like so phenomenal.
Do they keep in touch with each other today?
So interesting question. I've read reports that Gina and Amanda, you know, you have to think like their families were in the news together all the time. So when this whole thing happened, people were like, who the hell's Michelle? No one even knew who Michelle was. No one knew that she was even missing. So they were like, everyone knew Amanda and Gina, but no one knew who Michelle was. So Amanda and Gina started doing a lot of interviews together, and they got, you know, closer, and their families got close through this whole situation. And Michelle was kind of on her own. There's no animosity between them at all. Like, Michelle doesn't hold anything against them. There's no animosity, but Amanda and Gina kind of stayed closer, and Michelle kind of went her own way. And I don't think the three of them really talk that much anymore. But in the house, during the decade-long ordeal, Gina and Michelle were chained together. And Michelle says that Gina saved her life on 2 separate occasions, like actually saved her life. And when you listen to the book, there was a particular time with a very traumatic forced abortion that I didn't want to talk about in this episode, and Gina saved her life because she almost died from that. So they were very, very close during the ordeal, but now after everything, I think Michelle kind of went her own way. She got married, and I don't think the three of them have a relationship.
I'm hoping that the little girl Jocelyn is too young to remember this, and only like hears about it and is like,
well, she was 7.
Oh, she was 7. I thought she was 4.
No, when they actually got rescued, she was 7. I think she was 6 going on 7, but it was the year of her 7th birthday.
So she's going to remember, but hopefully, you know, those beginning years are so impactful on your brain.
I know, and she didn't see sunlight until she was 3.
Wow. I hope she's all right.
She is doing good. She, you know, her mom says she's doing great, and she, you know, she's completely in love with her. Like, despite who the father was, she doesn't even care. I mean, this is her daughter, and, you know, she's doing great.
That's good, because I was a little worried about that. Like, would she resent the child? And obviously, it's not the child's fault.
She doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't. She honestly looks at it, like I said before, she looks at it like her mom was in heaven and said, you're going to go, I'm going to send a baby to my daughter, and this baby's going to save these girls. So she looks at it as Jocelyn was sent by her mom to save them.
Wow.
And that's why I said, I think she might be right, because if Jocelyn never came, he wouldn't have been enamored with her. He wouldn't have forgot to lock the door. He wouldn't have loosened up on some of the things he was so strict about. And that was his downfall, was Jocelyn.
Wow, she saved them all without knowing it.
Exactly. Despite everything, Michelle, Amanda, and Gina survived. They refused to be defined by the years stolen from them.
Oh, yeah.
Just like Michelle said in her impact statement. Their resilience is beyond words. They reclaimed their lives, their voices, and their futures. Their story is a real-life horror movie. But out of this hell, they found the strength within them to say, I will not let that man... Whew, I'm getting emotional. I'm about to cry. They found the strength within them to say, I will not let what that man did to me define me. Not me, not today.
Hell yeah.
It is a testament to the unbreakable human spirit, to the power of hope, even in the darkest circumstances. They proved that Ariel Castro could take their freedom for a time, but he could never truly take their will to fight. And in the end, that's what saved them. I didn't cry when I was writing this.
It's hard.
Their legacy isn't just one of suffering, it's of survival and resilience and the courage to reclaim a stolen life. And that's the Cleveland kidnappings case. And like I said, I thought I knew, but I had no idea the extent of this.
Yeah, I only knew what's his name again?
Charles Ramsey.
I knew what Charles told me.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the story was wild. I've been like listening to her book for the last few days and just looking up tons of content about this case. And all I have to say is I was in my shower the other day scrubbing my body with my body scrubber that I got.
Well, do we?
And I was literally like, I am so grateful for the ability to take a shower whenever I want, to scrub my body like and be clean. Because when you hear her in her book describe being dirty for 8 months, and she goes into incredible detail about everything on her, the bodily fluids on her, in her hair. I mean, it really, like, when she describes how disgusting she was, you're just like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that I can take the shower, that I can come down and make myself coffee whenever I want, that I can literally go about my life. And like, I started realizing all this freedom I have.
You know what popped in my head right now?
What?
There's probably people right now that's going through a situation that they went through.
That are held captive right now.
That are held captive.
I know.
That's crazy.
I know. Well, people just need, when people go missing, families need to keep their name out there. They need to keep hope alive and not do what Michelle's family did. And yeah, this case is a wild ride for me. It was crazy, but truly inspiring. I mean, like, I needed a survivor case. This case has been suggested so many times. It's been suggested multiple times. When I went into it, I was like, oh yeah, this will be a good one. Why did I think it would be a good one to talk about? Because it has a viral video. Russ is the king of viral videos.
And you try to test my knowledge
about that. You know, I was like, oh, this has elements. I had no idea what I was in for. I had no idea.
Yeah, this was a tough one. You tried to test my viral knowledge, which
I did.
You will never stump me.
I will not.
Never. I scour the internet for idiots. I love idiots.
His favorite.
He's not an idiot.
No, he was amazing what he did.
No, he was good. But, you know, and he had great taste in 5-star restaurants.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's interesting that he wrote a book, and I need to look that up.
Wait,
I told you that in the beginning of the episode.
I can't remember everything. He didn't write a book. He had someone...
Oh, leave his life. Don't say that. Maybe he wrote a book.
No, I'm not saying he's dumb, but neither did these girls completely write a book.
No,
they all had writers.
Most people don't write books. They have help from writers.
Speaking of books, Jess's cousin writes books.
She does, and I'm a beta reader on her current book. I'm in the process of finishing up reading her book as a beta reader, which means I'm going through and giving her edits
medical stuff
because there's medical stuff in it.
What's the book called?
So the first book is called In the Silence of Decay. The second book in the series is called No One Left. And the third book, I'm not going to tell you what it's called because I don't think she's announced it yet.
I think you should say the name.
But
in the words of Beyonce, say my name.
I'm not saying it until she starts announcing it.
Okay.
But the third book in the series is coming out. I'm reading it right now, and it's so good, just like the other two.
They could check her on the gram.
Yes, check her out. Lisa Boyle Writes on Instagram. Check it out.
And, you know, I met them.
And it's a crime thriller, and it's right in our genre of crime.
Yo, her husband went to Africa to rescue rhinoceroses.
Yeah, no, he hunted poachers.
Yeah, like... To rescue them.
Yes, but he didn't just rescue.
For free. He didn't even get no money.
He didn't just rescue them.
He brought me ice cream sandwiches.
He did buy you ice cream sandwiches.
I fuck with him.
When they came over, they brought us ice cream sandwiches.
And we've been buying ice cream sandwiches ever since that day. We never have ice cream in this house.
We don't, but we've been buying ice cream sandwiches, as Russ says, since they came to our house. So, anyway.
Check out those books.
Yes. Check out Lisa
and don't
Boyle
forget,
Writes.
Give us, go to Apple, the podcast thing, shoot us some reviews. I need some cool reviews to read. And make sure you leave 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
This weekend, I may give you guys an update on what couscous is, because I don't even know what couscous is. We don't eat that shit in the Bronx. They ain't never had veggie pizza in the Bronx. I'm gonna give you guys a little update. Maybe I'll go live, or I'll do like a video review, like what the fuck is couscous? Why is there broccoli on flatbread and they're calling it pizza? I don't know what's going to go on here, folks. Fucking Baltimore, bro. These Marylanders.
Marylanders, yep.
In the Bronx, we don't do that. Should we be like, what's his name? We get some ribs.
Well, we're going to be in New York next week. Crazy.
New York needs me.
New York needs you. We'll be there next week.
Yeah.
Next time.
Hashtag what is couscous. Peace.